Number one, I think that what's really important is putting yourself out there constantly. When I first started, one of the things, we're going back a ways, but I used to be afraid, like, if I'm giving too much information, am I giving it all away for free and now nobody's going to come to me? Like, oh, I'm giving a free an ebook or a resource or videos or step-by-step plans. Give everything away. Because the thing is, I'll tell you, I've been doing this for 24 years. And what happens, the reason people hire a coach for anything, whether it's health or mindset or whatever, they don't do the work on their own. You can give somebody, I can tell you, Omar, I have the solution to every single problem you've ever had. And most people won't do anything about it. They got to come to you to hold them accountable, make them do it. So number one thing to do is keep putting out, keep educating people, keep providing resources, clear, tangible takeaways. That's the most important thing you can do. And you should do it as many times as a week as you can. I'd say 2 or 3 times a week, at least weekly. Write blogs, do videos, make posts.
Welcome to another episode of the Health Coach Academy podcast. I'm your host, Omar Cumberbatch of OmarCumberbatch.com. So excited for you to join me today to check out today's awesome guest. And I'll be honest with you, I think he may be my new hero. It's definitely a role model to look up to as a coach for sure, because he was actually voted the top coach of 2023 by Apple News, which is a incredible feat. And at the time of this recording, he actually received another top coaching award, which he's going to talk about a little bit during the episode. So his name is Brett Baughman, and he's just out there again doing his thing, really crushing it, and really just providing such inspiration to humanity in general. So I'm really excited to jump into this particular show. As always, please leave a rating and review on iTunes. It goes a long way for me to be able to get a guest like Brett Baughman to visit the show. So thank you for continuously doing that. And of course, if you have anyone who is interested in learning how to make a podcast and boost their business accordingly, jump on my website, OmarCumberbatch.com, and take a look at the courses on that page, and we can definitely go over it. Just hit me with a message, and that's something that is really, really, really exciting to share with the audience, especially those interested in creating podcasts. So let's jump into the show. Hey, Brett, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Fantastic, Omar. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, my pleasure. Like we were mentioning off air, you inspire me. I love what you're doing out there, and you're like someone I aspire to be. And it was what's cool with at the discussion that we had off the air is really just about, like, you're open to helping the people who are just starting out, and that's my tribe. And we have a couple of people who are doing it pretty big who listen to the audience. So we're gonna definitely touch on some of the points that they're interested in as well. But it's really cool to just have some help getting off the ground. A lot of health coaches, as coaches in general, they get the certification and then it goes into the attic and never to be used again.
Yeah, right.
So the show basically is just how do we figure out not to do that? Like you said, share your gifts, share your passion. Nice. And so I want to dive into your origin story, how you got into such a toolbox. I want to commend you on that as well. You have so many resources that you can draw off of. And just a little bit about yourself so the audience gets to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, so I'll give you like the high level. I always say the 15,000, not the 30,000 foot overview. But so it's intriguing, but not boring, So here's the main thing I'll tell you, it's my whole life. I've been very blessed. I've been on a path my whole life. I feel like what I'm doing is my calling. So luckily it's my passion. I love what I do. I don't feel like I go to work any day. I can't believe I pinch myself and I'm like, do I really get to do this all the time? I get to help people. And I think, like you said, it doesn't matter what level anybody's at, whether they're just getting started or been in it for years, whether you're struggling or successful, we're all got a good heart and our intention is to help others. So God bless you for doing that, right? And so for me, what I help people do, I have all these different titles. People call me a counselor, a therapist, an executive coach, a life coach, a business coach. And that's all great. I'm like, I don't care what you call me. I just want to help you. I want to get you through the doorway and help you start producing better results in your life. So you're inspired by what you're doing, you're excited to get up every day and do it, and you're fulfilled by your work. And so the main thing I do, Omar, that's my greatest passion, is helping others discover their passion and their purpose so they can live a fulfilling life, right? And so when people come to me, what I help them do and what helped me get in my process is determining what was going to build the best lifestyle for me. Because I think too many times what happens is we look at somebody else. Now, listen, you have to learn from others. It's always great to gain wisdom from what other people do. That's awesome. Always keep learning and apply that knowledge. A lot of times what we do is we get afraid to take our own path, right? We're afraid to take that first step. We're afraid we're going to make a mistake or we don't know. And so what we do is we either don't take action or we just copy what somebody else is doing, feeling like we have to because we don't trust our intuition. Am I making the right decisions? Am I going the right place? And so for me, it's all about making sure, like, what do you feel inside? What's God calling you to do? What's your intuition? What do you feel is the right thing? And carve your own path. So when I was a kid, I thought I wanted to be an actor. I did enjoy it, but I started out in the entertainment industry. I did like TV and film, did modeling. I was a musician, a lot of stuff like that. And I realized I kept following that path, also studying psychology and communication and behavior at the same time, because I really loved digging into the mindset of a character. I started realizing as I got into my like early 20s, I was like, you know what? Entertainment is not really what I want to do. And it was fun, but it prepped me for being a great coach because all that stuff, I was learning how to take the origin story of a real person. Like I'd get a script and I was like, where'd this person come from? The character starting at 25 years old, what happened when they were a kid? It's the same thing you do as a coach. Somebody comes to you and says, here I am, 25, 35, 45, and I'm unfulfilled in my life. Where do I go? Like, what's wrong? What do I need to do to get on path, to get inspired, to build the results I want in the life or the family I want? And so I realized it's all the same thing. It's taking a person back, a character, where'd they come from? What resources, what education, what traumas, experiences, problems did you go through that shaped you? And helping somebody determine, rather than shying away from it, surrendering to it and saying, wow, that was actually education, right? That was training me to get here so that I can continue on my path and become a success. So I was younger in entertainment. Then as I got like in my early 20s, I did a lot of work in management. I managed restaurants and owned restaurants. I did consulting and built sales teams and call centers. And really quickly, what I realized was the mistake that most people were making, either in their role or people that were being brought in as a coach or consultant to help them, was it was always about a product. It was always about the numbers and the sales and like, where's the bottom line? And I was like, that's not what life's about. It's about people. So I have always, whether I worked with one person or a company of thousands of people, you got to know each person. So my whole process of what I started doing at a young age was going to the person and saying, Omar, why are you here? Why are you selling insurance? Why do you show up every day at this call center and sit down at this phone and sell insurance? Because I'll tell you, you're not getting up in the morning jazzed to go sell insurance. You're getting up in the morning because you're like, I got to pay my bills. I got a sick child. I got a mother I got to take care of. I got to pay my college bills. I'm trying to buy a home. And so I learned about people and I started really investing. I took myself out of the equation. This is not about me. It's not about my ego, about me trying to be some superstar. It's like, how can I really impact this person positively and provide a value where they say right now in this conversation, thank you. You helped me. I can understand it. I can integrate it. And I'm already changing my life. And so that started me into a process of understanding like, wow, this is about people, this whole process. And then I met a woman, one of my first mentors, Chelly Campbell. And she was speaking at an event. I just was so drawn to her. She was so dynamic and sweet and funny. And I went up and said, man, what do you do? I got to learn more about you. And she's like, I'm a coach. And we started talking and she said, Brett, if I've ever met somebody who's a coach, you're a coach. She's like, you should learn about this. You should follow this. This is your pursuit. And I started my path and I started studying everything under the sun. That was the early 2000s. I started studying NLP and timeline therapy and hypnotherapy and financial stress reduction and everything I could do to help people better their lives in a whole life approach, not just business.
Oh, that's awesome. Because I was going to say, what did you do to qualify yourself as that? And you kind of gave us a little brief preview of what that is. But one of the things that you just said in your story, which was intriguing, it seemed like you were always good at business, though. You seem to naturally gravitate to understanding like the fundamentals of how things operate in the business world. Is that an accurate assessment, or did you?
Yeah, I was very blessed. I was this morning I received this thing. There's this group, this guy Cy Blackburn. Not sure if you're familiar with him or not, but he's very successful. He's got like a lot of different magazines and publications and things. He's a big coach, and I got voted a top business coach in this thing. And he asked us to write kind of a breakdown of ourselves. And he said, like, what is one of the most important fundamental things you think created your success as a coach? And my answer was my family. So like when I was blessed, I think we're all sitting here with a calling, but talent's equally distributed and opportunities not. I was blessed to have a great family. My family gave me a voice. They listened to me. They supported me. They loved me. When something went on, we'd sit down and talk about it in life. So I felt like I could express myself, and it built confidence. So I was able to be confident at a young age, to empathize with other people, and to start thinking strategically because I got my wheels turning. I wasn't inside my head worrying about myself. I got to be a little bit empowered. And so from a young age, I was good with communication. I was good at, I could look at people or look at a situation and feel what was going on with them or understand it through the language. And so that translated into business. So again, like started doing like sales training and call center development because it's all about listening to people, what they're saying on the phone. I could hear the conversations. The client would call and say, this is what's going on. This is the sales agent talking back to them. I'm like, I can hear this conversation. You guys aren't hearing each other, or you're not hearing what that person's saying. So I would go and train somebody like, listen, this is about a person again. Like you're on here the phone trying to sell insurance or trying to sell a car. Try to like, listen to what this person's asking for. And so that developed really quickly into skills and honed my skills of like, okay, you're trying to solve a problem. What people come to you for is two things. Number one, they want you to solve a problem and give them peace of mind. I can handle it. I got you. I got your back. I can do it. Number two, they need to trust you can do it. They have to trust you. So you can pitch them all day and make them feel, like I can do this thing, but like, will you do it for me? Will it work? And so I started to build that acuity very quickly. And that developed into understanding how to start building myself as a coach.
Gotcha. So it's cool because you just said you got obviously another award at Accolade, and I might know that you were last year at 2023, the number one top business coach of the year as per Apple News. So this is completely different. Today's a new
Yeah, different thing that came out. Yeah, it's great, man. It's a nice thing too because it gets I'm doing this event right now. I'm doing these like 1-day retreats here in Vegas called Breath House. And it's like we'll talk about it more in a minute. So it's a great event though, and it's like doing breath work and mixing in a lot of different modalities to help you heal mind, body, and spirit, from like sound frequency healing to coaching to body work. And so I've been really doing as much as I can to get the word out. Like, of course, I want my event to go well, but really, man, my thing is about impacting people. It's like breath work and meditation are so powerful, and everybody should understand them because they're free and they help you get over trauma. They help you advance as a person. As a coach, they're an incredible tool for you to use your tool belt. I mean, rapid transformation immediately. But the thing is, I'm trying to get as much marketing as possible. And this guy hit me up. He's got like, this goes to millions of people. Like, oh, thank you, God. I was like, that's an amazing piece of advertising for me. So thank you. That's going to reach a lot of people and hopefully put this into their ear, right? Because I think a lot of people hear about all these things like meditation and breath work and different tools, and they think it's woo-woo. They think like, oh, this is a hippie thing, or this is something I can't do. And man, we're talking about scientific, biological stuff that when you understand it, really helps your body. It helps you just feel better. And if you think and feel better, if you're performing better and you're healthier, you're going to get better results in every area of your life.
So that being said, have you been into that for a while, or this is something that you stumbled upon recently?
So I have been kind of in and out of, like, I've been doing meditation for 15 years, over 15 years. I do meditation, transcendental meditation, do it every single day. Wake up in the morning, do it first thing at sunrise, and do it a couple times throughout the day just to clear my mind, to recenter, to be creative. But I found breath work. I've been kind of doing some breath work versions for years, but it was more just stuff that I did through other techniques. And it wasn't quite, I didn't really understand it like most people don't. And last year in November, I went to Tulum, Mexico, and I was looking for a space to do my retreat. I was with my team and just stumbled onto a session. An activation was going on in the middle of the jungle. This one really nice guy, Andreas, and his and the shaman, Fabienne, were doing this thing. We lay down in the jungle under the trees by the ocean. And he was like, man, this will change your life, transform your life. It's powerful. People go through this. It blows their mind. I'm like, I've been doing this for 20 something years. I've seen everything and I love it. I'm like, but I'm used to it all. And I'll tell you, man, it blew my mind. It was one of the most powerful things I've ever done. And I mean, I released some trauma I didn't even know I had. I saw my grandmother, my brother, who had just passed away in the past couple of years. I had this experience of them with this cleansing and kind of, just worked through some emotional trauma. I saw a vision of what I would do with my retreat, just all this incredible stuff. And I came out of it just crying and so powerful. I grabbed them both. I'm like, you're on my team. And I brought them right in. And from that, I went and researched like, okay, what is this? Let me get deeper into understanding this because, when people do, like if somebody comes to me as a client, they're coming either stuck in their business or stuck in some issue in their mindset, unhealthy, bad relationship, like something that's making them not perform the way they want. And there's a lot of work to go through. It's painful, right? At the beginning, you got to pull yourself out of quicksand because you're someplace you don't want to be. You're negative in your thinking, you're emotional, you've given up hope, you don't have the momentum or motivation you want. And so it's a lot of grinding work to get to the point where you're like, okay, now I feel clear. Now I got to build something. But the thing is with breath work, doesn't matter what you think or matter what you feel. You do this thing and in 30 minutes to an hour going through a journey that I do, you're done. That's gone. You're like, the trauma's gone. You're cleared out. You get rid of stuff that you've been dealing with for like 5, 10, 15 years. And you're like, boom, that took us 1 hour. Now let's do some work. And so it's
Wow.
rapid transformation. So like I really started digging into it. And I've been doing them. I do journeys every single week, a couple of them a week.
And this is just breath work. This isn't any
Yeah.
plant medicine and all that stuff
Yeah.
that they're talking about online.
I'll send you and your listeners a link. I do free journeys. I'm not doing one tonight, but I usually do one every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific.
Really?
And here's the thing about it, Omar, and people listen to this because like you should do it for yourself. And if you're a coach or it doesn't matter, health coach, any type of coach or facilitator, you should really learn this technique because it will change your business. And it's also really easy to get clients right now if you're talking about how to get a client in the door.
Hmm.
So just talk about, I mean, like everybody that does this instantly wants to be my client because they're like, what just happened? I need more of this.
Wow.
So as a society, we're overbreathers. As an entire global community, we overbreathe. It's like if you think about it, a panic attack is when you're breathing too much. You're right. You overbreathe and you get too much oxygen in your brain and you pass out. That's a panic attack. So any level of overbreathing creates some level of anxiety in you.
Right.
Now, what we're doing as average people is we breathe 20 to 30 times a minute, is what they say the average person does. You're supposed to do 6 to 8. So if you
Really?
think about it, you're like, we breathe like shallow, we mouth breathe. We don't really take in the oxygen where we're supposed to. What we all believe, it's the wrong belief. What we think is, I'm stressed out. So because I'm stressed, my mind is overwhelmed. I'm breathing a certain way. And that's
Hmm.
not really true. What
Hmm.
happens is the way you're breathing causes your brain to think a certain way. So it's the total reverse, right?
Hmm.
And so when you start to control your breath, you start to change the way you think. And what they found out scientifically now that your lungs have millions of receptors in them. So the type of breath you take in, meaning the speed of your breath, the quality of your breath, it actually sends receptors to your brain like a signal and says, this is how we're supposed to think. Like imagine you're going to go into a boxing ring and you're going to fight with somebody right now. What's the first thing we do? We get in the ring, go, we pump ourselves up. You start breathing, and you go, it tells your mind, get activated. I'm getting ready to go into a race. I'm getting ready to fight. So the same thing happens if you calm it down. You go, your brain goes, oh, we need to calm down, get clear, let go. And
Hmm.
so that's just one simple thing about it. But you start to understand, wow, my breath controls my physiology and my psychology. If I can control the breath, I change the way I think. And not only that, you take yourself out of fight or flight. Your
Hmm.
mind goes into clear and creative thinking. You release toxins. You get rid of the adrenaline and cortisol that's in your
Hmm.
body. So it's healthier for you because we're not supposed to have that in there. You die. The adrenaline and cortisol are what actually age you. And when you
Right.
remove it, you reduce the pace at which you're aging and the disease that you take on, the illnesses.
Hmm.
Powerful.
No, it really is. I'm fascinated. It's a fascinating topic for me, and I'm looking forward to that link. I will be in the next I'll be there
Awesome.
next Tuesday. I love
Awesome,
all that
man.
kind of stuff. Yeah, so I want to just give Tulum a plug. I love Tulum. I've been there
Yeah.
many times. I'm sure you're aware that the airport's going to start up
Yeah.
to Tulum in I think they said March 30 something, like part 31st or
Yeah.
whatever. So that
Couple years are starting. It's getting crazy, man. Like the economy's growing, the costs are going up. I mean, it's a beautiful place, but it's going to get busy with that there.
Yeah, yeah, and they're supposed to do the rail that goes down a little
Hmm.
further down the Riviera. So, the only thing that I guess was preventing my family from going at the time was that it's 2 hours from Cancun by
Yeah.
car. But now that you can just fly right into Tulum, it's
Yeah.
going to open up a lot of opportunities. So I hope you do some future retreats there as well.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a hub for a while. I kind of went around a lot of different places in the world to find like where I felt that the energy was right. Because, again, like different places have different energy, right? Like New York's a beautiful city, but you go to New York, you can feel that's like intense, right? There's like a lot of energy. It's like electric. Everything's like concrete and buildings versus going to some place like Tulum or Thailand where it's very grounding and very spiritual. And so Thailand and Tulum are my two main spots. Like right now, they both really have that energy where you go there and you feel peaceful without even trying. It's got a serene tranquility. And also, what I love is everybody down there, no matter where you're at, they're coming from a yoga session, they're going to a sound bath, they're coming out of something. There's always doing some kind of healthy work or activation. So it's really just a real nice community of people who are in the mindset that we get overjoyed by.
Yeah, no, I definitely felt that. I live in New York, and it was for me. It was Tulum and
Yeah.
Costa Rica are like the two
Yeah.
places that I had like a
Oh,
nice vibe,
yeah,
for sure.
for sure.
So yeah, like I mean, you did mention that you use this breathwork part, as you have many things in the toolkit, so I don't want to just lay it there, but there
Yeah.
are methods that you get clients. So
Mhm.
Walk us through this. So that's one of the number one things that someone starting out, they want clients. They need somehow to
Yeah.
make some kind of money to keep it going. So any tips on that? What were some things that you thought
Yeah.
of in the beginning to do?
So I would say a couple things. So number one, I think that what's really important is putting yourself out there constantly. When I first started, one of the things, we're going back a ways, but I used to be afraid, like, if I'm giving too much information, am I giving it all away for free and now nobody's going to come to me? Like, oh, I'm giving a free an ebook or a resource or videos or step-by-step plans. Give everything away. Because the thing is, I'll tell you, I've been doing this for 24 years.
Hmm.
And what happens, the reason people hire a coach for anything, whether it's health or mindset or whatever, they don't do the work on their own. You can give somebody, I can tell you, Omar, I have the solution to every single problem you've ever had. And most people won't do anything about it. They
Right,
need to
right,
come
right,
to
right.
you. They got to come to you to hold them accountable, make them do it. So number one thing to do is keep putting out, keep educating people, keep providing resources, clear, tangible takeaways. That's the most important thing you can do. And you
Hmm.
should do it as many times a week as you can. I'd say 2 or 3 times a week, at least weekly. Write blogs, do videos, make posts. And this is what I do with my social media. I've done this for a long time, and I'm blessed to get a consistent. I had 3 consultations a day. I've had 7 this week. Like, they're just all the time coming consistently. What that is a factor of is every single week I make sure that I put out one blog, so a written article. I
Hmm.
do at least one video, and I put out 2 or 3 posts. So the
Hmm.
blog obviously is written article. The video is seeing me. I can chop that up and make that reels or post stories, things like that. And the post is just a static post with a picture and like information under it.
Hmm.
But that's the cadence I do every single week. And if you get in that rhythm and cadence, what happens is unconsciously, first of all, the people are seeing you enough. They got to get familiar and trust you. They
Hmm.
say now it takes 14 times of seeing somebody before you start to trust them and start to take action. So you got to be consistent. You can't just put something out here and there and think it's going to happen. They forget about you. That's why you see McDonald's commercials every 2 seconds on the TV, right?
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
but so, in addition to that, whenever you put anything out, you want to keep it simple. Like I said earlier, the biggest thing people are looking for is 2 things. Number one, can you help me? I
Hmm.
want someone to help me. I need to overcome anxiety or PTSD. I need motivation. I need clarity on my goals. Like, they need to understand really clearly that you can solve a problem they have. And it has to be a clear solution. Like, I'm going to help you overcome the anxiety you're experiencing from work. Do you feel overwhelmed in your life? Let me show you how to get over overwhelmed. Let me help you get organized. Make it really clear and simple. The second thing is trust. You got to build trust. And the trust comes through, I'm telling you these things, can I do them? The only way they're going to build trust is if you consistently show up and keep saying the same things, so integrity, and also if you start showing results, show testimonials, show that you're doing it yourself, right? So show yourself stepping up and doing it. So, like, in all of my marketing, what I do is, if you notice, I do kind of 3 things. It's broken into 3 parts. First part is what I just said, education. And that part's like 60%. 60% is education. Then I've got 30%, which is going to be me showing myself out doing the things. So, like, here I am in the world following through. Here's the workout that I told you about. I'm doing it. Here's me using the breath work that I told you works. So, like, oh, this guy's doing it. He's not just telling me about breath work. He's doing the breath work. It's showing other people going through it. Here's clients going through the breath work. Here's me doing an event where we're doing the meditation breath work. So it's social proof that all this knowledge is applied. And then the
Hmm.
last little 10% is a little bit of marketing. Hey, by the way, I have an event coming up and like that. So again, it's education is the biggest. Give people key, clear takeaways. Here's 2 or 3 steps to learn this solution. Then here's the social proof. Here's me doing it, living it, and here's other people living and doing it. And the last little part is holding events where you can get people to come in and experience it with you. And in that last little part, that marketing of events, you should start doing some free events online. Get people
Hmm.
to come and get a taste of the medicine, because most people are not going to buy unless they've trusted you, unless your name is big enough, or unless they've gotten an experience of using something and got results with you. So I do free morning meditations every Monday morning at 7 a.m. Pacific. I have people come into a room. We set intentions for the week, and we go through a little process of meditation and setting goals and breath work. Every Tuesday night, I do the breath work journeys for free online. And then I just have other things that happen here and there. But I'm always putting something out where it's like, okay, this guy's talking the same talk and walking the same walk.
Hmm.
He's showing proof of it happening. And now I can jump in and see it for free. I don't have to pay him any money. I can go and do his breathwork journey and see if this breathwork works.
Hmm.
Somebody does it, goes, oh my God, it did. I feel incredible. Okay, maybe I should hire this guy. And so that little cycle right there will help you to start getting clients. Plus, you're doing 2 other things: building credibility and for any searchability online for Google and things like that, if you consistently put valuable stuff out that actually ties back to your brand and to what you do, your keywords, etc., that raises up your rank and your credibility. So you're found much easier in everything that happens. They basically start favoring you and putting your social media higher when somebody searches a health coach or life coach, or if you go to LinkedIn or something, your profiles come up earlier.
Did you niche down early, or did that come later, or was that even a thing for you? Because I do see, again, like you have a
Yeah.
very broad
Mm-hmm.
uh, target market because of your brand. Like
Yeah.
I think that which came first, kind of.
Yeah, great question. It's kind of done an accordion.
Okay.
I've been doing it long enough. I mean, I was back at the beginning. People were hitting me up on a pager. I had to pull over on a payphone and
Oh
call them.
man,
Yeah, so we're going
the
back a
good
little
old
bit.
days. The good old
Yeah,
days.
exactly, right? It's like in Chicago, like, oh no, I got to find a payphone right now. No, but so when I first started, I was looking for people that, well, people that hire me, to be honest, very just getting hired, right? At the beginning, what I did was I looked for people that were looking for something I wanted to do. So let me back up and say this. I think a mistake that most people make when they start a business of any kind is they're worried about making money. And so what they do is they create services that they may not want to do. Don't get yourself stuck with somebody buying services that you hate that you're having to do. I did this at the beginning. I came up with so many services because I wanted to have everything somebody would need. So like if I talked to them, got them on the phone, I could sell them something. And then I had tons of people buying the things from me I didn't want to do. And I got stuck with like 100 clients paying me money. I was like, oh my God, now I have to spend the next 3 months doing this thing. I hate doing this. So make sure that your services are things you love to do and things you're really good at doing. So after I made those mistakes, I quickly realized I got to make my services only things I'm really good at, things that I'm excited that somebody hires me for. So that was sales training, sales development, building like kind of strategies of mortgage companies, insurance companies, and financial companies where I would help them figure out what their funnel was. How do you bring the client in? Then what's your script? And then what's the product you sell? And how do you take the client through that journey? So that was the first thing I did. It was just about sales and communication.
Okay.
And then I started realizing that I did that really well, but I was like, but I'm not as inspired because I was getting hired by companies. I was like, you're making this widget and I don't care about this widget. Or you're doing this thing and maybe I don't believe in what you're doing. Like, yeah, I can make the company 2x and build the company and the team, but I don't want to do it. I don't believe in your product. Or I don't think you're giving a good product or service to someone. So I started saying, now I only want to work with people where I believe in their product or their service. So I started niching down into like, I got to make sure I believe in what you're doing. I did a bunch of mortgage companies and there were some great experiences, but a lot of mortgage companies weren't given the best rates or weren't really taking care of having good customer support for their clients. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So I started finding nonprofits and charities or companies that made a product or service that impacted the world in a positive way. And then after that went well for a while, I was like, okay, I started moving up the ladder. After I was working with building the sales teams and management, the executives started saying, hey, we need you for the C-suite. I'm the CEO and I need help. I'm overwhelmed. I need my VP of sales needs help. Doesn't know how to run his division. Or I got a regional manager and I started doing C-suite managers and executives. And then as I got into that world, I started realizing that really for me, I'm the best and it works when I hit the highest level executive and make sure that it trickles down. If I can change the way because it's how they're running their business. What is their mission statement? What's their values? How are they managing and building their company and their team? Everything from how they hire to how they develop and send out their product or service, how their customer support system's in place to take care of it, how was their company culture. And also at that point in time, if I can get a CEO to change the company and they got 7,000 employees, I just affected 7,000 people. So I started going like, how can I touch one person and touch many?
Okay. Yeah, because that's one of the common things I struggle with myself a lot of times,
Mhm.
like to really believe that if I choose something right now, it's going to be that way forever. And in your
Yeah.
24 years, you've really clearly demonstrated that that's not the case. And you evolve, you
Hmm.
grow, you adapt, and you're able
Yep.
to serve all these different types of people in a variety of ways. Because that's just the way the internet
Yep.
business advice talks about it now. And
Oh
I think
yeah.
that's overwhelming for a lot of people, especially in the beginning.
I say don't go to the internet for general knowledge, search for specific knowledge. So I don't go in and scroll. I never scroll. And I don't turn on the news and watch things. I have specific things that I have send me information. So I've chosen what's going to be sent to me so that I am always in control of the information that goes into my mind. I want to feed myself healthy information. So like you said, if you scroll, man, if I scroll for 10 or 15 minutes, I get anxiety. I'm stressed out. And they're telling you, you're doing this wrong. You need this thing, buy this thing. So I never do that. What I do is, what would inspire me right now in my business? Oh, I want to learn more about AI. How can AI support my business? So specifically, how do I want AI to support my business? How can it help me be better at writing proposals? So I'll go search. What are the best tools in 2024 to help me increase writing proposals with AI? And then I search that knowledge because it's specific. Otherwise, you get overwhelmed with something you don't even want, and it makes you emotional. It wears you down. It breaks your hope, right?
No,
I think
definitely.
it's smart to go that way. The other thing too is, like you said a minute ago, feeling like maybe you can't change or you're going to be stuck in something, that scarcity or fear mindset, right? Here's the thing I'll tell you, man, I've learned more than anything. Two things. Number one, fail forward. Just keep going for it. I've learned now I run at fear. I am not afraid of anything other than losing my family. I don't have a fear in the world about anything. So when it comes to business, if I want to do it, I just go for it. If I want to increase my prices, I just increase my prices. Because one or two things are going to happen. Somebody's going to say yes, or I'm going to learn something. They say no, and I figure out how to adjust something. So that's the second part, is surrendering to the process. So number one, fail forward. Go for it. Be like, you know what? I want to make more money. Raise your price and just say that's your price. Just make sure that you have integrity and you can always feel that you can provide the value. Because if you say you're $10,000 an hour and you don't feel like you can give 10,000 value, then you're not going to step up to it and you're going to feel anxious about it. But if you're charging $100 an hour and you want to be charging 200 or 300, just say you're 300 and get up there and build up to it, because all that's going to happen is it's going to build your skill. And then when somebody hires you for that, you're going to be so inspired to do that work and provide that value. So fail forward, because you'll either succeed or you will make a mistake and learn. And that will be someplace that it shows you a skill or an area you need to improve upon, right? And then the second thing, like I said, is surrender. The biggest thing we do is we make a plan, we do all this work to get it, we go out to start executing it, and the second something doesn't go right, we doubt ourselves, we get afraid, we shrivel back, we want to change courses. I'm going to quit being a coach, I'm going to get a job at a restaurant. Like, we change our minds and we want to just jump ship. And it's like, don't do that. Stick with the plan. Part of our blessing in life, part of the brilliance of how we work is, you're going to be given the obstacles and the challenges and the blocks that you need to make you better. It's sharpening your sword. So if you stop, if you don't want to have problems, you want to have challenges, then you don't want to grow. So don't be afraid of the problems. That problem means, man, if I pay attention to it and I do the work to understand that problem and be better next time, I've now grown, that problem's gone. That is now a skill or strength I have. So take it on, take it on, take it on. It's like a boxer, right? If you're a boxer and never want to be punched, you're not going to be a real good boxer.
Right.
You got to get in there and get your face beat up. You get your face beat up, and next thing you know, you're a great boxer because, man, you're not afraid of getting punched. Right?
So I guess like two questions pop out of that last statement. Were you always like that, first off? And is that also the biggest fear of, is fear the biggest obstacle that you find in the coaching industry today?
Yeah. So first of all, question is, that have I always been like that? I've always been pretty brave. Always been pretty go for it. Not as much as I am now. I've refined it. And the thing is, you know, I learned when I was doing sales training back in like early 2000s, when I was working with call centers. I was helping mortgage companies and guys on the phone, and they'd get on the phone and they would be so afraid to pitch something or say something. And I used to tell them, like, look, go for it. I'm like, you're either going to fail or you're going to have an opportunity for growth. And I'm like, but the thing is, if you fall back, if you're afraid, you hold back, then you never know which one you had. You never have an opportunity. So I started saying, like, run at the problem, run at the fear, because then we can get all that stuff out and learn where you need to grow. So that, doing that with people and having hundreds and hundreds of people I trained that with, started to ingrain into my mind, like, yeah, it's true. It really is. Like, I watched these guys that had no confidence, get on the phone, and after a week, all of a sudden be doing great at sales, because they're like, wow, you're right. The fear's gone. I ran at the fear and now I learned. And a lot of times 80% of the fear is stuff you make up in your mind. So you just start getting over really quick. It's kind of cleaning the house, getting the garbage out, the head trash, right? So I had an inclination for it, but through the process of helping others, it built my skill set and my grit to stick with that thought process. And then I would say, yes, fear. I would say fear. Like, I always say that our stress and our anxiety comes from lack of clarity and fear. Something we don't know, something like, I don't know what to do. I'm not sure how this is going to turn out, or I'm not clear on how I should do it. And so once you get specific about what you want, like, I'm specific that this is what I want to do, or I'm specific that this is the problem I need to solve, fear goes away. Then it's just execution, right? The more specific you can be, the less fear you will have. Because think about it. What if you say, like, I have an opportunity to invest $10,000, but I'm afraid I'm going to waste the money. I'm afraid I'm going to lose my money. I'm afraid it's not going to work. I'm afraid if I don't have that 10 grand, I can't pay my bills. All these fears of things you don't know. So if you start answering all those questions instead of being emotional about it, okay, let's get smart about what the investment is. What do I get in return? What's the risk level? If I lose 10 grand, what's it really going to be like if I lose the 10 grand? And you just start answering all those questions. You're no longer emotional, you're strategic and objective. And you go, oh, now I can make an objective decision. It's not a fearful decision where I don't know. I now have all the information and I can be educated to make a decision that makes sense. And that's all it really is getting specific and taking the time to answer the questions and drill down.
Hmm. Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I got two more questions for you before I let you
Yeah.
go. I guess the first one is, um, who are you looking up to nowadays as far as in your industry? No, I know that you're not copying.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
keeping that eye. It's like, you know what, I like this guy or girl, and I
Yeah.
want to learn some stuff from that person.
Great. That's great. It's funny because it's a lot of them are not in my industry anymore.
Okay.
But I'll tell you, there's several people I look up to. So one is Joel Osteen.
Okay.
I love Joel Osteen. I listen to him every day, and I really love his message of hope. Because what I
Mm,
like is I like what he's done is he's disrupted the industry, we shall call it, of religion, where most of the time it's judging, it's black and white, you're right or wrong, or it's like telling you, judging who you are. Something like, he's like, no, forget all of it, take the shackles off of it. And it's talking about hope, about being positive, about love and supporting and believing in yourself. So he's taken something that normally in the past was something people would shy away from or feel like they were guilty or shamed in. He's like, that's not what the message is at all. The message is positivity, it's hope, it's growth, it's I love that because it doesn't matter whether somebody believes in God or not, whether you're faithful or not, spiritual, it's all the same message of positivity and hope. So that really inspires me. And I love how he takes a topic that can be very touchy and can be very judgmental or limited in ways and makes it broad for it's non-denominational to everybody. I love that.
yeah.
I really respect Aubrey Marcus, less the person and more the process. He's still great, but I like what he's doing with building his events and how he's kind of building out a community right now that's impacting people at a grassroots level. He's doing like his Fit for Service program where people show up and go to these events where they do an impact in their community. He's doing events here in Vegas, Arcadia, which are kind of these little mini festivals. I just kind of like the model because I see myself doing a very similar model. I feel like we're closer to each other than probably most people, you know.
Right.
Um, Tony Robbins is always great. He's always just, I mean, the guy just always doing extraordinary things. But I really like Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Yeah.
Dispenza is fantastic. I'm very big into meditation and the power of belief and all those type of things we use with hypnotherapy and the power of our mindset, understanding the routines. He's a peak performance coach, really. He's teaching you how to do specific things with your behaviors and your mind that are medically proven and biologically proven to enhance your performance. So those are some people that really inspire me that I kind of lean into, like when I want inspiration or education. And I think they're doing a fantastic job of making a positive impact in the world.
Yeah, no, I love those four guys as well. Big fans of
Awesome.
all of them. I guess to close out, just can you show us like being that you're doing great out there, what's your typical day look like? I know that you say I kind of got that you may or may not be a early riser, and then you hit it with the meditation and stuff. I'm curious about even in the world of diet, exercise,
Yeah.
meditation, breath work. Just give us what a great day looks like for you.
Awesome. Yeah. So I have, I have a very routine, very ritual, by the way. I like that. I believe that, I'm probably one of the most disciplined people you ever meet. Because my disciplines, I can measure my performance. I have figured out my recipe for success and what works for me. And I do that. I don't break from that. It's very sacred to me. So
Hmm.
I wake up every morning at 5:30. And I do a morning process. I come into my temple here and I actually sit down first. And the first thing I do is I just pay attention to my breath. I notice how I'm breathing. So I witness it first. I don't regulate it, but I pay attention like, how's my breathing today? How's my mind today? And I notice if it's busy, if it's off, where it is. I notice my breathing is shallow or how it is. And then I will then regulate it. I'll do some breath work. I'll go through a couple different techniques to activate my mind, clear out toxin to get myself centered. Then I'll meditate. I do transcendental meditation for 10 to 20 minutes, depending on what type of breath work I've been doing.
Hmm.
So breath work, then meditation. Then I go through a process that I teach all my clients called QP1 or quantum programming, which I help my clients discover their passions in life, which are these unconscious drivers. And when you know them, we have these affirmations, these statements that you say that activate your mind into your highest self because they're reminding you why you're here, what really inspires you. So I read over those and really, really associate to them so I can feel it, like see myself living them because it gets me inspired, like a vision board or something would be like you're seeing yourself in that ideal state. Then I go through a list of affirmations, list of gratitudes, and then I set some goals for the day. And then after that, I go down, take my dog, I do a shot of turmeric. I do that every morning. I have like ginger turmeric shots that I do. I take my dog out on a run. We go for like 30 minutes to an hour, go out in nature. We'll sometimes go hike, but we go for a run. I come home and eat breakfast and I go to the gym and I work out at the gym for like an hour, either doing yoga or doing some kind of workout. Sometimes I hike in the mountains. But the point is from 5:30 to like about 10 o'clock every morning is me time. I don't have anybody else interrupt me. It is just my time. I have my phone on do not disturb. I don't take calls. I don't check messages. I do have an executive assistant, so she handles some things for me, which I brought on so I could do that. The only times I have a differentiator in there is sometimes I will have a podcast on certain days where it's early because maybe they're a different part of the world, but that's rare. We're talking about a couple of months maybe. And every Monday morning I do those morning meditations. But then when I come home, like, I get back to like the workout, I shower, jump in, get ready, and then I time block my whole week out. So every day has a specific thing that I'm doing. My week is never all over the place. Mondays are my administrative day. I do a 15-minute strategy call with all my clients and we set up the week. So Monday is just checking in with my clients and just preparing for the week, getting every client ready for the week, knowing what their goals are, measuring their success and making sure they're on track to produce extraordinary results. Then on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I do coaching sessions and podcast interviews. The podcast interviews are towards the end of the day. The sessions are earlier in the day because that gets me in my thinking, gets the juices flowing. So then when I also want to give them the best, and when I'm with the podcast, I've been warmed up from working all day and there's good stuff to talk about because I've been doing it all day. And then Friday is my time. That is for me to catch up on anything I need to do in the week, following back if I have to, if I had an additional thing I need to do, but that's just free time for me or time to just collect from earlier. And then the weekend is just, the weekend is doing what I want to do, going out and hiking, do yoga, I do events, a lot of personal development stuff like that. But it's the routine all the time. I run that like that because your unconscious mind works best when it knows what's going to happen. Right. And then also when I take trips and stuff, it's easy for me to manage my life because everything is organized. So I can pick up a piece and just move it if I have to. It's not like I'm going to get groceries right now, that I got a session, that I got to do a podcast, I'm doing a phone call that I got to get into. That's where my clients come to me and I help them reorganize all that and get it where it works for them.
And all important stuff. The only thing that I wanted to find out as well, what time do you go to bed?
I go to bed at 9:30. 9:30 p.m. Yeah, sometimes it's later, but most of the time it's 9:30 because I'm getting up at 5:30. And so like by like 8:30, I kind of turn off all technology. I will usually meditate, listen to an audiobook, or I'll listen to like really chill music, like handpan music, stuff like that's relaxing. And I take the time for me. I do a lot of dancing in the house by myself, which is fun to do crazy stuff, or take my dog on a walk. So I try to infuse my life with much more holistic things than things that we get caught up numbing ourselves in. So as much as possible, I try to listen to an audiobook, read a book, dance, go for a hike, go for a walk, listen to music, play music, something creative. And I really train my mind to go down. Once I start doing breath work and meditation at night, my mind knows, oh, we're going to sleep. I turn all my lights down in the house. I have them on different things and I'll turn them all down. So everything starts getting lighter and or getting darker and darker, going to candlelight and stuff like that. I have Sonos speakers, so everything goes to meditation sounds. So by 9 o'clock, the whole house is like a spa. It's like very low lit, very chill music. And so like your body's going, oh, it's time for us to unwind. It's not like I'm sitting in front of the TV watching, Law and Order at 11 p.m., drinking a bunch of soda and Doritos and like, okay, time to go to bed. And you hit the button. You're not going to wake up good tomorrow.
No. So yeah, that's good. I mean, that's an ideal way of going about your day. So I really appreciate you sharing that with the audience.
Thank you.
Listen, Brett, you've been fantastic. You're really inspirational to me. Can you please tell the audience where to keep up with all the great stuff that you're doing and what to look out for if there's anything brewing as we speak?
For sure. Yeah. You can always find me, Brett Baughman, my name. If you just search, you'll find me everywhere. But my website's the best, brettbaughman.com. If you go there, you can find any information you want about anything I do in services. I'd say a great place to look for things right now is there's an Action Mastery tab at the top on the menu, and that's where I do my live events. And the great thing is there's a bunch of good stuff you guys should plug into. Like I said, I do these Monday morning meditations. You can click on there and it'll give you the direct link to join me on Monday mornings, 7 a.m. They're fantastic. Great way to start your week. I do my breathwork journeys online free every week. You can go in there to breathwork and click and find those. And then I'd love for people to join my Breath House event I'm doing in March. So on Easter, March 31st, we're doing a 1-day retreat. And it's a whole day raise your vibration, working through group coaching, Kundalini yoga, sound bath, breath work, and then like kind of deep tribal house music. And the whole thing is everything is curated to be helping you heal your body, mind, body, and spirit. So the frequencies reset your body and help you. The mind work is helping you get a plan and get inspired. The breath work is clearing out toxins and giving you clarity from trauma. It's really powerful. But you can join a couple different ways. If you go to the website under Action Mastery, you'll see it says Breath House Retreat. But the nice part is we have a VIP ticket you can get right now, where on March 1st, you start group coaching with me for a month. So before the event, you actually work with me in a group every Friday for 2 hours. We'll group coach until we lead up to the event. Then you can do a general admission if you want, and just show up for the day of the event. And I'm also broadcasting it live online. So you're going to be able to find it online as well. So, there's no excuse to not be there, whether you're online or with me in person. But I'm also running some raffles right now. So you can, if you join my group chat, you can do that, and you can have a chance to win a VIP ticket. So a lot of good stuff. I'll send you an email when we're done. You can share it out with your group if you like. And there's just a lot of ways to connect. And, anybody can reach out to me. I'll give them all the information and find some way to give them some more support moving forward.
That's awesome. I appreciate that. Brett, you've been fantastic, and I'm looking forward to just keeping up with everything you're doing. So have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, Omar. Real pleasure. I wish you much success and all your audience as well. Stick with it. Remember, extraordinary is only a thought away. So just keep at it.
Definitely. Likewise.
Awesome, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you. Hope you enjoyed listening to today's episode of the Health Coach Academy podcast. If you did, jump over to iTunes and leave a rating and or review. It goes a long way in helping get this message out to our fellow health coaches and people in our industry. Also, if you can, jump over to my website, omarcumberbatch.com, where I give out a lot of freebies, including my 5-day sugar challenge for people who are having issues with sugar. And also for health coaches, I have the book, Hidden. It's the 6 not so obvious ways to get your clients unstuck. Have a great day.